So I grabbed my completed tank out as a reference. So the side guns and top guns and the front grille are in a colour called dark gunmetal. Sounds appropriate. Vallejo game colour. So yes, let's get started on that. When I finish with the painting, as per the previous tanks, what I put on it is this Vallejo textured effect, mud obviously, so just kind of, that's why the tanks end up, their tracks look brown. It's because of the mud you put on to simulate they've been running through the mud and picked up all kinds of stuff. Maybe a small brush for just a little part there. Do the same for there, just use a small brush so I don't get it everywhere, all over the green. I guess the sides are more like flamethrower things than guns, is the idea of the design. A dash more. It's like everything with painting, the further you go, the more you have to be careful of where you put your fingers. You don't want to grab a wet part and undo all that work you've just done. So with the chevrons around the door, first step is I do a white, just to kind of block out the area. Then when that's dried, I do it all in yellow. Then when that's dried, I hand do the red crosses. And then when that's dried, I go back with the green and just tidy the lines all up, because, you know, especially with the crosses, they tend to go over the yellow line. So yeah, we're just gonna start that today. There's also like a observation area there, so I'll put white there before I put the blue, and just do a little designation on the top. That is the plan with the white. I think, yeah, I do that little area at the top as well as the line. It's like a latch or something, I guess. Try to be reasonably careful, of course, because it just prevents a lot of follow-up, fix-up work, but it's all just done by hand, because it's ultimately meant to look like it was hand painted on there, not a commercial sort of design. There's just some insignia on the side that they have. So once again, I've painted it all green because it's just easier to start with the green, and then you just then kind of highlight with the white where you're going to paint. It just makes it easier when I actually put the colours that I want it to end up being on. It's not trying to compete against the dark green. The white just makes it all pop that little bit easier. Okay, that's the side one now. Okay, it's a big insignia on the front. Alright, so just let that dry and start with the other colours. So as far as the colour selections are concerned for the logo on the tank, model colour beige and game colour hot orange are used. For the viewing area on the tank, game colour aquamarine has been used, and then for the chevrons by the back door which lower down, moon yellow and vermilion are what we use. Alright, that's a chevron yellow. And next we've got the beige for the logos. Of course, you want to get rid of all the white. You want to cover it up. Alright, so I'll let those dry, and then for the logos I can do the orange, and on the chevron I can do the red once that's all dried up. Last thing I'm going to do now is the blue. Very green blue, I guess, aquamarine. Yes, it's kind of like a viewing port for the driver, I guess, or sensors for the driver. Anyway, I'll let that all dry for now, and then yeah, we'll do the reds. Time for some hot orange. Who doesn't want some hot orange? So this is just for a stylized logo, and obviously just adds a little bit of interest to the model as well, rather than it just being all green with mud on it. Looks super clean now, but one of the final stages of painting these types of equipment is to do a bit of a black wash to make it all look dirty and used and not brand new. So that will happen at the end. Okay, that's the easy stuff done. Doesn't really matter, but I'll try and keep it somewhat similar to the first one. I have seen a lot of this sort of work done on bigger models where they use masking tape, but honestly, for something this tiny, it's just, you know, no point trying to mask it. It wouldn't work. Quite happy just to do something freehand. Alright, that's some hazard strips. So now we will let that dry. Still got to do the metal underneath as well. And then it will be ready for black wash. So you can see the tone of a black wash on the completed model. It just, yeah, tones it down, I guess you'd say. So it's not all quite as vibrant. It looks like it's been out in the field. Just going to do the designation on top. Sometimes when you really only need a very, very small amount of paint, I don't even bother putting it on a palette. I just take it straight out of the bottle so there's not much wastage. And you're kind of trying to replicate a hand painted on sort of look anyway, so you definitely don't want stencils or anything too fancy, because you're trying to basically say that this is what they've done out in the field. Right. But I don't like buying pre-made washes. I actually think they're just a waste of time. Much easier to make your wash yourself, and you don't need to buy watered down paint. So with this particular model, it's time for its black wash. Once that's done, I'll put some mud on later, but I'm going to do the black wash first now. With a wash, the whole point of it, of course, is that it should be transparent and not take over the model. You're not painting the model black. So just a little bit of paint and then a whole lot of water. I'll use one of these dropper things. Alrighty. And just test on the side of the palette how it looks. So that's not too bad. So the idea with washes is that the liquid kind of flows to recesses and kind of areas in the model where it can highlight, like, yeah, it picks up all the little detail. So that's why kind of tones it down as well, like makes it less bright. It definitely makes it a lot more dirty and worn. Just got a medium-sized brush. How am I going to hold this? I have to do the bottom separately, so I'll try and hold it from the bottom. You don't want to undo all the work that you've done with your painting. You see, you still want to be able to see the painted model, but you also don't want it to look like it's just rolled off the factory floor. It's a tank that's seen some action. That of course will further be enhanced by the mud when I get to that stage. So the painting of the tank is finished, and this is what the final product looks like. And the final step is the mud. I've been using this one called European mud by Vallejo, but they have a whole bunch of their textures. Actually starting to get a little low on it too. And you know, you're looking like for a splatter effect, so especially down low where obviously, you know, it would run into mud. A little bit hanging off the front grills. Okay, interesting. I've had this one for quite a while, and you know, there's hardly any left by the looks of things, so I didn't realise that, but parts of it also starting to go a little bit hard. I mean, it does harden once you put it on, you leave it and it dries up, but I like to put a lot around the back corner because obviously it's sped through areas that would have splattered mud back, so and also the door, if you think about it, it would be lowered down into mud, so I tend to put a bit extra on the door area. Obviously you're going to have more on the bottom part than the top part. Yeah, don't do that. The other thing is it's pretty hardy compared to like paint. And obviously it just gets harder, but that's pretty much the sort of effect I'm looking for. A little bit on the top. And then just a final light smear over the top of the tanks, because they would still retain some of the mud. But you obviously for there you want to see the metal coming through, whereas on underneath I pretty much cover the metal. You can still see little bits, but and it adds another colour. It's better. Not too bad, not too bad. Alright, well that is now the final painting and texturing of the tank. The only thing which I'll add to that is a clear coat of my ultra matte varnish for a bit of protection, but yeah, that's essentially completed. Thank you very much for watching my video.